All right, our Tuesday trio of trouble is here. Three fine MPs with strong opinions to debate. Marco Mendicino is a Liberal MP from Toronto. Karen Vecchio is a Conservative MP from Southwestern Ontario. And Jenny Kwan is an NDP MP from Election Central tonight in Vancouver. Welcome to you all.
Hey, Don.
Hi.
You know, we heard those clips on this infrastructure bank, and Calgary pushed hard for that. Montreal tried a little bit too, and I guess it's a prestigious thing as much as it is an employment opportunity. But you're from the West, Jenny. Was this a snub?
Well, I got to tell you, the infrastructure bank, who's it going to benefit? The multinationals. This is exactly who the government brought into the inside to really structure this thing. They've actually even made a decision to set up the head office in Toronto before the issue has even been brought to committee for a full debate. So this is supposedly transparent, but really, who's paying the price? It's taxpayers who's paying the price, and the Liberals are doing this to line their pockets for their friends and insiders.
Well, are you questioning the bank or the location or both?
Well, I'm questioning the entire decision from the government. There's no transparency on this. And really, at the end of the day, who's going to pay? And I suspect, and I would be ready and willing to wage in the fact that there will be fees that taxpayers would have to pay, user fees, and the transfer of the cost is going to be onto them. And, we all know this. Governments have the best borrowing rate. What is this all about, except to line the pockets of multinationals?
Yeah, that's a point former Parliamentary Budget Officer Kevin Page has made. Is there really the economics to support it? All right, let's talk location here, Karen.
I'm with Jenny on this one, too. We can talk location, but the fact is we're putting a location before we've even started to discuss it, and I think there's a lot of problematic issues there. We know that it's costing taxpayers $35 billion. We know that at the end of the day, it's taxpayers on the line. And we also know that it was discussed with many, many people, including BlackRock, how they're going to formulate, how they're going to put out money. And at the end of the day, it's going to where they are located as well. So we have to recognize that this is a really small group of people making decisions. It's not being the government of Canada. And I'm very concerned with what they're doing. There's going to be zero transparency, especially when it's only brought twice every 10 years. Or every 10 years, it's going to be twice brought to the parliamentary.
All right, Marco of Toronto, I got to ask you, though. I mean, I have some Calgary DNA in me, and I just can't believe that. I know it makes sense maybe from a pure financial standpoint to be in the financial center of Canada with this infrastructure bank, but Calgary needs a leg up right now. In Toronto, no one can afford to move there. Why would you put such a big economic stimulus project in a city that doesn't need it?
Well, Calgary is going to get support, and all Canadians are going to get support. And here's what we know. After 10 years of anemic growth under the last government, our party was elected on a platform to invest in infrastructure.
Right.
$180 billion over a number of years, of which $15 billion will be contributed towards this investment bank. And the real important point to take away for your viewers, Don, is not where the location of this bank will be in the end, but what it delivers, which will be better roads, better transit, clean water, and a sustainable economy and jobs.
How many people are we talking about? How many people will the infrastructure bank actually hire?
Well, that will be part of the ongoing consultation process, and I would respectfully disagree with my friends Karen and Jenny. The consultations have been broad. They haven't just been with private enterprise, which we need to work with, but also with labor and with other deliverers of services, which will be who will be working together collaboratively to deliver on infrastructure.
I tell you, Calgary leads the way in terms of public-private partnerships. They basically got the concept off the ground. It seems to me they'd be the ideal place to.
Well, they're going. Listen, as I said before, I think that Calgarians and Albertans will be winners in this, as will all provinces. But we need to infuse investment, and we need to build infrastructure, and that's what this bank is designed to do.
But just on that, though, I mean, during the campaign, you don't hear the Liberals saying that they're going to put forward a privatized scheme with their infrastructure bank to build infrastructure. They've never told Canadians that. And here we are after the election. What are they doing? Doing a privatized scheme through this infrastructure bank that's going to cost taxpayers money. And really, that money is much needed on the actual infrastructure, and not to line the pockets of their friends.
There is more than enough evidence that for every dollar that you spend on infrastructure, you get a better return.
Well, tell me actually,
sorry, if I could just be permitted to finish.
Just the question, what's the borrowing rate going to be? Is it going to be better than the government borrowing rate?
If I could just be permitted to finish, thanks.
Answer that question.
What I would say is that we were elected on investing in infrastructure, and we're delivering on that promise with this bank.
Right. I got to move on because we could talk about this all day, and we wouldn't get any further than we are right now. That Bombardier got a lot of government money, both from Quebec and the federal government, $1.3 billion to build this passenger jet. Interestingly, the government really didn't do anything besides tisk about this, but it's interesting. Two huge investors in Bombardier, the Teachers' Pension Plan of Ontario, as well as the CASE, Quebec Pension Plan, have said, we don't want that chairman to get reappointed. This whole compensation package has made it very distasteful. I just sort of wonder why the government didn't join the chorus a little more forcefully, Karen?
I 100% agree with you on that. I think that if these two operations are saying we don't have confidence in them, why does the Canadian government have confidence in them? That is one of my big concerns, and I hope that they're asking these questions. Bombardier paid huge amounts to their executives. I think it went up $12 million between 2015 and 2016. They're showing zero credibility, so why are we putting the confidence in them? So I really, truly hope the government is questioning themselves on what they're doing with that.
I'll go to you next, if you don't mind. You've got
I don't mind.
response?
Yes, very simply, the government has confidence in the aerospace sector, which produces $28 billion in GDP per year, 211,000 jobs. And the purpose in collaborating with Bombardier is to ensure that we are investing in research and development in the C-Series, and that will produce up to 1,300 new jobs. So obviously, there has been some concerns expressed about the CEO. We see that as largely being a matter for between the shareholders and the management of Bombardier, and that will play itself out. But in the meantime, it's important that the government maintain confidence in an important sector of the economy, which will produce jobs and growth.
You know, I was told that the governance structure was the reason this took a long time to come together. The federal government was concerned about the people at the top. Do you think they should have put a string attached to their money and said the chair's got to go because, you know, he's
Well, I don't think Canadians expected for the federal government to put money into job creation and for that big chunk of money, and we're talking about over $32 million to go line the pockets of CEOs. That's not what people expected. That's not what people want to see. So absolutely, there needs to be accountability to that, and the government needs to take action to make sure that money is spent where it's supposed to be, and that is to create jobs for Canadians.
All right, let's have some fun. There was an interesting question today. The official opposition leader asked the Prime Minister an interesting question about a certain cardboard issue. Let's hear Ron Ambrose and Justin Trudeau.
We have found out that the government ordered 14 full-size cardboard cutouts of the Prime Minister. I'd like to give him a chance to explain this, but I'm worried that his explanation might fall flat. And, Mr. Speaker, he's not going to be able to just paper over this with his explanation. So instead of his one-dimensional answers, will the Prime Minister tell us, shouldn't this idea have just gone into the recycle bin?
One of the differences between us and the previous government is we believe in giving our diplomatic missions the independence to make their own decisions and to make their own choices. That is something that matters on the world stage, to trust our diplomats to represent us well around the world and respect the choices they make.
All right, so this is a foreign affairs policy move, I guess. I want to couple that to two other quick things. One, the government spent $30,000 on tickets to Broadway's Come From Away for people that weren't just politicians. There were some pretty hefty business interests in there. And there's $111,000 patronizing a ritzy Rideau club down here for Crown corporations and agencies. So, Marco, I guess we should get to the one-dimensional answers now. Really, seriously, should the government be paying that kind of money for cardboard cutouts of the Prime Minister in order to sort of act as Canada's out on the world stage? And here's your chance to meet the Prime Minister in almost real life.
Well, without wanting to diminish the question, I even think if you listen carefully to the Leader of the Opposition, she was delivering it almost tongue-in-cheek. Look, the Prime Minister, I think, gave an effective response, and that is that we do respect the independence of our diplomatic corps to make decisions about how they advertise Canada abroad and how they build relationships abroad. And with respect to the other two questions which you posed to me, just very quickly on the memberships over at the Rideau Club, those are arm's length agencies of the government, and we're reviewing the policy that does allow for certain memberships to be paid for. So we're going to take a hard look at that. And then on Come From Away, you know, like many Canadians, Canadians, I think we were very proud on 9/11. When the people of Newfoundland and Labrador welcomed those stranded in the air or who would have been stranded in the air and gave them safe harbor at a moment of need. And so this play is, I think, an homage to that moment, which we can all be proud about. It's about building relationships, as the Minister for Global Affairs said today. And so I think this is these are good relationship building exercises which we can all be proud of.
Nothing tongue-in-cheek about that answer. All right, Karen, cardboard first.
I feel really sorry for my friend Marco, who's having to answer that question.
Yes,
It
well,
is
that's
really
that's
too
the fate
bad.
of Liberal MPs
I'm
on these
really,
panels.
really sorry that you have to answer that question. The fact is, if we're going to send out an ambassador, yes, he is our Prime Minister who should be out there, but cardboard cutouts, my son does have one at Sidney Crosby because he idolizes him and he's a celebrity, but this is about being a celebrity. It's not being about politics and policy, so let's not go there. We also know that with these tickets that they bought, about $30,000 in tickets to go to Broadway. These were people that not only could afford them, but they go to these things all the time. Yes, it's celebrating what we did in 9/11, and I respect that. But people can afford those tickets. It's not up to the Canadian taxpayers to pay for those, and the Rideau Club membership. So that's just another joke. But I think taxpayers' money is just going down the drain, and I really feel sorry for some of our MPs that are on the Liberal side that have to stick up for stupidity like that, just stupid things.
You don't think we should have a nice cardboard cutout of Tom Mulcair to, we can all stand beside?
Well, I got to tell you, I didn't realize foreign policies and foreign affairs is about a vanity project, because that's what those cardboard cutouts are. And it's a promotion of the image of the Prime Minister. And guess what? The cardboard doesn't talk. So they're not out there promoting Canadian values and putting forward what we believe in on behalf of all Canadians. So, it just goes to show you, really, the mindset of the Prime Minister and the Liberal government is all about them. It's all about their image. When it comes to action and something that counts on the ground, they're not there. It just all sums it all up, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Cardboard cutouts. That's the policy of this government.
Don't you think
Get
it
your
would have
picture
been...
taken with
Well, look, I do have to say...
Selfies.
I do, there is a bit of amnesia that's being suffered by my friend Karen. Not that she was responsible for it because she wasn't a member of Parliament in the last administration, but there was $750 million spent in the last Conservative government on advertising, which was widely derided as being a waste of taxpayer dollars. So just to be fair,
really
to be
going
fair,
at, you're way off there.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, if the Conservatives wasted taxpayers' money on
far bigger price tag.
advertising, the Liberals are doing more of the same, and now with real images of a cardboard cutout of the Prime Minister. Why don't we spend that money on where it counts? We have people who are homeless. We have Aboriginal people who don't have access to education. We have housing issues,
I'm not
health
sure
issues.
$2,000 would do much, but
let's
anyway.
get on with it.
All
That's
right.
just a symptom of all the problems, isn't it?
That was more fun than normal, but okay. Thank you all. We will move along. Thanks again.
Thanks,
We'll see you
Don.
guys next week. Coming up, we